Ladies and gentlemen, sisters and my dear friends, have you ever wondered why some people walk through storms and still shine, while others collapse under the smallest pressure? Today's message is simple, yet powerful. Stop being a soft woman. Now, this doesn't mean stop being kind, gentle, or loving. No, it means stop allowing life to break you. Stop letting the world misuse your goodness. Stop allowing your emotions to control your destiny. Knowing your worth is one of the most powerful shifts you can make in your life. It is not about arrogance, ego, or believing you are better than someone else. It is about understanding that you are valuable, capable, and deserving of respect and dignity. Many people spend their lives trying to prove themselves to others, seeking approval, applause, or validation. But when your worth depends on external recognition, your confidence becomes fragile. It rises when people praise you and falls when they criticize you. True strength comes when you no longer need the world to tell you who you are. You look inward and acknowledge your own value, your own growth, your own progress. A person who knows their worth does not beg for attention. They do not chase people. They do not cling to those who do not value them. They understand that walking away is not loss, it is clarity. It is choosing peace over chaos, respect over insult, purpose over distraction. When you know your worth, your choices change. You choose relationships that uplift you instead of drain you. You choose conversations that inspire you instead of degrade you. You choose environments where you can grow instead of environments where you are belittled. You stop shrinking to make others feel comfortable. You stop apologizing for being strong. You stop lowering your standards just to be accepted. Knowing your worth is also about understanding that your value is not tied to your past mistakes or failures. Everyone has failed. Everyone has made wrong decisions. Everyone has moments of regret. But those moments do not define you. What defines you is how you rise, how you learn, how you transform. A person who knows their worth does not hide from their past. They use it to shape a stronger future. They understand that growth is not always beautiful or easy, but every challenge has carved strength within them. They do not compare themselves with others because they know every journey is unique. Comparison only destroys peace. Growth happens when you focus on your own path. When you truly know your worth, the world responds differently. People treat you the way you teach them to treat you. If you allow disrespect, it continues. If you allow manipulation, it increases. But when you stand firm, when you speak clearly, when your presence carries confidence, not loud arrogance, but calm assurance, people recognize that you are not someone to take lightly. Your energy changes, your decisions become stronger, your life aligns with your value. Understanding your worth also means being patient with yourself. You do not need to rush your progress or prove your success quickly. Real growth takes time. Flowers do not bloom all year. Strength is built slowly through experiences, resilience, and reflection. Speak to yourself kindly. Replace self-doubt with self-belief, not by pretending everything is perfect, but by recognizing how far you have already come. Every challenge survived is proof of your strength. Every lesson learned is evidence of your wisdom. When you know your worth, you become grounded. Opinions do not shake you. Rejections do not break you. You stop searching for someone to save you because you realize you can carry yourself. You can stand strong. You can guide your own path. And in that moment, you are no longer a soft soul easily influenced by the world. You become a woman of clarity, grace, and strength. A woman who does not just exist, but lives with purpose, dignity, and power. Setting clear boundaries is one of the most essential acts of self-respect. It is the way you communicate to the world how you expect to be treated. It is not about building walls or distancing yourself from everyone, but about identifying what is healthy for your emotional, mental, and physical well-being. Many people struggle with boundaries because they fear judgment, rejection, or conflict. They worry that saying no will make them seem rude, selfish, or unkind. However, the truth is that failing to set boundaries leads to far deeper pain, exhaustion, resentment, disappointment, and a sense of being unseen or undervalued. Boundaries are not a sign of coldness, they are a sign of maturity. When you do not set boundaries, you leave your life open to being controlled by others' expectations. You may find yourself constantly doing favors, fulfilling demands, or sacrificing your own needs to keep others happy. And while this may seem like kindness, over time it drains your energy and destroys your identity. A person without boundaries often becomes everything for everyone except themselves. The heart becomes heavy, the mind becomes tired, and the soul becomes lost. You begin to feel invisible because people are taking from you without giving back, and it is not their fault. It is because you never drew the line. Learning to say no is not rejection, it is protection. It is choosing peace over pressure, clarity over confusion. When you say no to what harms you, you make space to say yes to what helps you grow. Your life becomes intentional. Your choices become meaningful. You no longer act out of obligation, you act out of purpose. People may not always like your boundaries, especially if they benefited from your lack of them. But those who truly respect and care for you will honor the space you need. Those who resist your boundaries reveal their intentions. They were never interested in your well-being, only in your availability. Boundaries also shape your self-image. When you enforce them, you reinforce your belief that you are worthy of respect. Every time you speak up for yourself, you strengthen your confidence. Every time you allow someone to violate your boundaries, you weaken your sense of self-worth. The way you treat yourself teaches others how to treat you. If you forgive disrespect quickly, if you let insults slide, if you remain silent when hurt, you silently give permission for it to continue. But when you address it calmly, directly, and firmly, you send a message that your dignity is not negotiable. Having boundaries does not mean responding with anger or aggression. Real strength is quiet, steady, firm. A simple statement delivered with calm confidence holds more power than shouting. You do not need to justify your no. You do not need to explain your limits. You do not need to apologize for protecting your peace. Boundaries are not about controlling others. They are about controlling your own space, your own time, your own emotional capacity. Boundaries also help you choose the right relationships. When you are clear about what you will and will not accept, the wrong people fall away naturally. You no longer cling to relationships built on fear, dependency, or insecurity. You attract people who respect your values, honor your energy, and walk with you instead of over you. Boundaries are how love becomes healthy. Without them, love becomes sacrifice and suffering. With them, love becomes balanced and supportive. The courage to set boundaries is the courage to value yourself. It is choosing to no longer abandon your own needs just to avoid disappointing others. It is realizing that peace is more important than pleasing everyone. It is knowing that your time, your kindness, and your heart are precious, and not everyone deserves access to them. When you set boundaries, you do not lose people who matter. You lose those who were never meant to stay. Staying emotionally strong does not mean suppressing your feelings or pretending that everything is perfect. It means developing the ability to remain steady even when life becomes overwhelming. Emotions are a natural part of being human. Joy, sadness, anger, fear, disappointment, all of these feelings are real and valid. But emotional strength is the art of managing those feelings instead of being controlled by them. When you become emotionally strong, you react with clarity rather than impulse. You respond thoughtfully, not destructively. You learn to understand your emotions instead of allowing them to dictate your actions. People who lack emotional strength often break down at the slightest criticism, feel defeated by setbacks, or seek constant reassurance from others. Their mood fluctuates depending on external circumstances. If people praise them, they feel worthy. If people criticize them, they lose confidence. Emotional strength changes this entirely. When you build emotional strength, Your peace does not depend on how others behave. You no longer chase validation or feel destroyed by someone's opinion. You begin to trust yourself more deeply. You learn how to breathe through pain, how to stay patient in uncertainty, and how to maintain stability even when emotions run high. Being emotionally strong means recognizing that discomfort is temporary. You learn to sit with your feelings without trying to escape them. You understand that challenges are art of growth, not signs of failure. When someone hurts you, instead of reacting impulsively or breaking down, you take time to reflect, understand the situation, and respond with maturity. When life presents difficulties, you remind yourself that you have overcome challenges before and you will overcome this one too. Emotional strength is built through experience, by surviving moments you once thought would break you. Another aspect of emotional strength is self-control. Not every thought deserves to be spoken, and not every emotion needs a reaction. Sometimes silence is more powerful than response. Sometimes walking away is more powerful than arguing. Emotional strength allows you to protect your energy by choosing your battles wisely. You begin to understand that you do not need to prove yourself to anyone. The need to defend your worth disappears once you are truly confident in who you are. Emotionally strong individuals do not run from responsibility. They face challenges with acceptance, not denial. They acknowledge mistakes without losing self-respect. They learn from failures instead of being defined by them. They do not search for someone to save them. They strengthen themselves so that they do not collapse when support is absent. Emotional strength teaches you to stand alone when necessary without feeling empty or lost. The journey to emotional strength also involves removing the need to control everything. You learn that some things are simply not in your hands. People's reactions, their opinions, their choices, their loyalty, these things cannot be forced. But how you think, how you react, how you speak, and how you carry yourself, that is always within your power. Emotional strength is recognizing where your power begins and where it ends. It is also about patience. Growth does not happen overnight. Emotional maturity develops slowly, shaped by moments of reflection, loss, disappointment, healing, and renewal. You begin to see life not as something happening against you, but something unfolding for you. Every hardship becomes a lesson. Every wound becomes wisdom. You stop asking, why is this happening to me, and start asking, what is this trying to teach me? When you become emotionally strong, your presence changes. You appear calmer, clearer, more self-assured. People sense your stability. They know you cannot be manipulated easily. They know your peace cannot be disturbed without reason. And in that calm strength, you gain the rare ability to move through life with grace, resilience, and unshakable confidence. Rising after every fall is one of the most defining qualities of a strong and resilient person. It is easy to continue moving forward when life is smooth and everything is going according to plan. But the real test begins when challenges appear, when setbacks disrupt your path, or when you feel as if the world has suddenly turned against you. Failure is not a mark of weakness. In fact, it is often a sign that you dared to try. You stepped out of comfort and you pushed yourself beyond the ordinary. Every progress in life is accompanied by struggle, and every meaningful transformation requires some degree of discomfort. Rising after a fall means refusing to allow temporary setbacks to become permanent limitations. When something goes wrong, most people tend to blame themselves harshly. They feel embarrassed, ashamed, or discouraged, thinking that failure is proof of inadequacy. But failure is simply feedback. It teaches what works and what does not. It shapes your judgment. It builds a stronger mindset. A person who has never fallen has never learned how to stand with strength. Life does not reward those who never make mistakes. It rewards those who learn how to recover, adjust, and continue moving forward. Falling is not the enemy, staying down is. The moment you decide to rise, you reclaim your power. Rising after a fall also requires patience. Healing is not instant, rebuilding is not easy, and progress is not always visible. There may be days when you feel exhausted, lost, or unsure of your direction. During those times, do not rush the process. Growth is unfolding even when it does not show on the surface. Silent progress is still progress. Your resilience strengthens each time you choose to keep going, even when motivation is low or support is scarce. Rising is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is quiet. Sometimes it is simply waking up and trying again. And that effort alone is a sign of courage. One of the most important aspects of rising stronger is changing how you speak to yourself. After a fall, the mind can become a battlefield. Doubts, fear, regret, and criticism may start to overpower your confidence. It is easy to convince yourself that you are not capable or that your failure was final. Emotional resilience begins when you respond to these thoughts with kindness, patience, and belief. Your inner voice must lift you, not tear you apart. Encourage yourself the way you would encourage someone you care about. The words you speak to yourself shape your identity and influence your future actions. Rising after a fall also involves understanding that not everyone will support your journey. Some will judge, some will discourage, and some may even be relieved when you fail. But your success does not depend on their approval. Your journey is personal. Your progress is only between you and your purpose. Do not measure your worth by how quickly you rise or how perfectly you recover. Measure it by the fact that you refuse to surrender. Strength is built through resilience, and resilience is built through adversity. Every challenge you overcome becomes proof that you can handle more. Every difficult moment you survive becomes a reminder of the power inside you. With every rise, you become wiser, calmer, more disciplined, and more aware of your capabilities. You learn to trust yourself, to rely on your internal strength rather than external support or comfort. When you rise after a fall, you show the world, and more importantly yourself, that nothing can break you permanently. You demonstrate that your spirit is unshakable, your determination is unwavering, and your heart is stronger than any difficulty. Each rise is a victory. Each step forward is a declaration of strength. And with every comeback, you become a more grounded, confident, and unstoppable version of yourself. Choosing self-respect over approval is one of the most transformative decisions a person can make. From childhood, many are conditioned to seek validation from others, to be liked, to be accepted, to be praised. Approval becomes a silent addiction. You may find yourself adjusting your behavior, silencing your voice, or compromising your values just to fit in or maintain harmony. But the truth is, living for approval slowly erodes your identity. You begin to lose sight of who you truly are, because your sense of worth becomes dependent on how others respond to you. Self-respect, on the other hand, brings you back to your center. It anchors your identity in your own values, choices, and principles. When you choose self-respect, you no longer feel the need to please everyone. You stop chasing people who are indifferent about your presence. You stop explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. Approval may make you feel accepted temporarily, but it will never make you feel fulfilled. Self-respect, however, gives you the confidence to stand alone if necessary. It gives you the courage to walk away from situations that compromise your dignity, even if the world expects you to stay silent and tolerate. You begin to understand that peace is worth more than attention, and integrity is worth more than admiration. There is a strength in knowing when to walk away. Many remain in relationships, friendships, or social circles where they feel undervalued or invisible because they fear being alone. But loneliness is not found in being physically alone. It is found in being surrounded by people who do not appreciate you. Self-respect teaches you to prefer your own company over company that costs you peace. When you value yourself, you become more selective. You no longer give everyone access to your time, your energy, or your heart. You recognize that your presence is not something to be taken for granted. Choosing self-respect also involves being honest with yourself. It requires you to acknowledge when something is hurting you, when a situation is draining you, or when your boundaries are being crossed. It encourages you to stop making excuses for others' behavior. You begin to see clearly that love without respect is manipulation, support without consistency is convenience, and attention without effort is temporary. You learn to hold yourself to higher standards, not just in how others treat you, but in how you treat yourself. This means keeping your promises to yourself, protecting your mental and emotional well-being, and refusing to settle for less than what aligns with your values. Approval is fragile because it changes with people's moods, insecurities, and perceptions. One day you may be appreciated, and the next day misunderstood. If your identity is tied to approval, your sense of worth will constantly fluctuate. But self-respect is stable. It does not depend on external opinions. It comes from within, rooted in your understanding of who you are and what you deserve. It gives you the confidence to make decisions based on what is right for you, not what looks good to others. You stop living for the audience and start living for yourself. When you choose self-respect, your relationships also change. People who value and respect you will remain. Those who only benefited from your silence, compliance, or emotional availability will fade away. This transition may feel painful at first, but it is one of the most liberating experiences you will ever go through. You begin to attract people who appreciate your authenticity, who support your growth, and who admire your strength, not people who take advantage of your kindness. Living with self-respect does not mean rejecting feedback or refusing connection. It means knowing your worth so clearly that you do not have to prove it to anyone. Approval may give temporary satisfaction, but self-respect builds a lifetime of inner strength, confidence, and peace. You stop needing others to tell you that you are enough, because you finally believe it yourself. Being soft by heart and strong by spirit is a balance that very few truly master. It means maintaining kindness, compassion, and empathy while also possessing a firm inner strength that cannot be easily shaken. Too often people misunderstand softness as weakness, believing that being gentle means being submissive or easy to control. But true softness is intentional. It is a choice, not a default. A soft heart allows you to care, to love, to forgive, and to understand. A strong spirit ensures that you do not lose yourself in doing so. When these two qualities are combined, you become a person who is warm yet unbreakable. A soft heart feels deeply. It recognizes the emotions of others and responds with patience and grace. It does not rush to judge or criticize. It holds space for people to be flawed. However, without strength, that same softness can become vulnerability that others misuse. People might take advantage of your generosity, manipulate your kindness, or assume they can treat you carelessly. That is why strength of spirit is essential. A strong spirit does not harden your heart, it protects it. It gives you the ability to say, I care, but I will not allow myself to be disrespected. I forgive, but I will not tolerate repeated harm. I love deeply, but I will not love at the cost of my self-respect. Strength of spirit is not loud. It does not need to force or prove anything. It is a quiet assurance that lives within. It is the understanding that your value does not decrease when someone fails to see it. It is the inner voice that whispers, I will be okay, even when the world feels heavy. Emotional endurance, patience, self-control, these are signs of strength and not weakness. When you are strong inside, you do not need to fight every battle. You learn to evaluate what is worth your energy and what must be released. You understand that reacting to everything steals your peace, while choosing where to place your focus preserves your strength. Being soft by heart also means you remain human. You allow yourself to feel joy fully and pain honestly. You do not pretend to be unaffected just to appear strong. Strength is not the absence of emotion. Strength is the ability to handle emotion without letting it destroy you. The strongest individuals are not the ones who show no pain, but the ones who refuse to let pain define them. They allow themselves to break for a moment, but they rebuild. They bend under pressure, but they do not snap. They fall, but they rise wiser, calmer, and more aware. This balance also influences relationships. When you are soft at heart but strong in spirit, you love people sincerely. You give fully, not halfway. But you do not cling to what hurts you. You understand that love should feel safe, not suffocating. You can walk away from people you care about if staying means losing yourself. Your strength teaches you that your well-being matters. Your softness ensures that your love remains pure, not bitter or guarded. With this balance, you become someone who inspires trust and respect. People feel safe with your heart, but they also know they cannot mistreat you. Your presence carries warmth, yet authority. You speak kindly, yet your words hold weight. You forgive, but you remember the lesson. You offer understanding, but you do not excuse harmful behavior. Your compassion becomes a gift, not a weakness others can exploit. This balance is not achieved overnight. It grows through experiences, through moments where your heart was too soft and you learned to strengthen your spirit, and moments where your spirit was too guarded and you learned to soften your heart again. Over time, you learn how to give without losing. You learn how to love without breaking. You become someone who remains gentle in a world that can be harsh and strong in a world that can be demanding. And that combination is one of the most powerful forms of strength a person can ever possess. So today, stand up and reclaim your strength. Be gentle by heart, but unshakable in spirit. Love the world, but do not let the world crush you. Let every challenge teach you. Let every setback shape you. And let every moment remind you you are stronger than you think. Thank you. Stay blessed. Keep growing. And remember, do not be a soft woman. Be a strong, wise, and unbreakable woman.